Hello everybody, welcome back to Spokane. Today we're going to be taking a look at my Nationals adventure and my Nationals deck. So first and foremost is that just a quick Nationals recap for you. I spent the 30 hours driving over to Indianapolis from Spokane. I stayed at my aunt and uncle's house in Rapid City, Iowa, and in Webster City, in Rapid City, South Dakota, Webster City, Iowa, and then drove over to Indy and spent some time there. Went by myself. Had a couple people say they didn't want to go at the last minute, which kind of sucked, but it was fine. It was still a good trip. It was just a little lonely, it was all. And the reason things look weird in the background is because I'm still in Iowa right now, actually, recording this. So I'm in Webster City tonight, and I'll be in Rapid City tomorrow. So audio is a little shaky as well because I don't have my mic. It's back in Spokane. So got to the event, checked in, all that fun stuff, got the playmat, got everything I needed. Not a whole lot there. I play tested late on Thursday, won a lot of games, was feeling really confident with this deck. But yeah, my first two rounds I had a bye. I got second at Vancouver Regionals with Don Fan, and then I played Pyro in the top cut, and then eventually lost to Chase Maloney in the finals. So I had a bye round 1, bye round 2. Round 3 I played against a young man named Chad Miller, who was playing Mega Manetric, which is the big weakness of this deck. I got slaughtered, which really sucked because I was one of the only two-round bye people in the Sapphire pod to get to lose right out of the gate. So I felt really bad about that. I was just like, oh no, today's gonna be so bad. There wasn't much to say about that matchup. I got slaughtered. It wasn't close. That's how this matchup works. It just, you get slaughtered. Round 4, I played against Kareem Lacus. His name was Kareem. He was a fun player. He was cool. He was playing Primal Groudon Landorus to charge up. So I didn't think he didn't play many Mega Turbo. I don't think. I think he might have played 2 or 3. He also played a very low count of stadiums, and he also played the Regirock that has barrier, alpha barrier or whatever, to get back stadiums and to keep, I guess, to keep tools safe, because he did play Masquerain. So there's that, I guess. I mean, Masquerain was really good for him. I don't play any, you can see I don't play anything that removes tools, so it was fine regardless. But I 2-0'd him. This has a good Groudon matchup. He's taking 1 prize a turn. Landorus doesn't soften up anything, and if he can't get a stadium out, he can't kill Baby Tall at all. So that was a win. Round 5, I played against Poet Larson, and he was playing Seismitoad Bats. He was playing Seismitoad Bats, which is a pretty coin toss matchup in my opinion. Just because both players don't hit for a whole lot, and you kind of depend on your bats. One player is item locked, but the player that's item locked is only giving up 1 prize. So it kind of goes back and forth. We each took a game off each other and couldn't finish game 3. Although he probably would have won game 3 if we had keep going. But we went to time, and beforehand he asked me during game 3. He said, "Hey, if we go to time, can we go on prize count?" And at that point, he had board position on me and everything, and I was like, I feel like it was kind of unfair to ask me at that point to say, "Hey, can we go on prize count?" Because obviously I was going to say no because he was going to win. It's just kind of unfortunate that we didn't decide to figure that out beforehand. But regardless, it was a tie. Round 6, I played against A Roll of the Dice, the author of A Roll of the Dice, Andrew Zavala. I think that's how you say his name. Anyways, rollofthedice.net, really good website. He's got a really good insight, really good player from Arizona. And he was playing Night March, which is a very, very, very good matchup for this deck. He's only taking 1 prize, and I'm knocking out Muse. I'm sniping Pokemon on the bench, and I'm one-shotting everything in his deck, basically. So it's a really, really easy matchup for this deck. Just naturally on paper, there's not a lot that Night March can do against this. It was an easy win there. Andrew's a great player, but it's just the matchup not in his favor. Round 7, I played against Kevin Wong from Maryland. One of the oldest players in the game. His POPID was 4 digits long, in the thousands. So he's, really good player, playing for a really long time, and he was playing Garbodor Toad. And that matchup is very funky. I'll tell you that right now. I really don't know what I did or what I didn't do, but round 1 I took out a really quick lead. Never surprise bite or sneaky bite, but I did take an early lead. and got down to about, I think, 2 prizes left after knocking out 2 toads. He played 1 max potion, 1 Pokemon Center Lady, but other than that, he had no super scoop ups or any way to heal. I think that's kind of what he initially ran into, is just I was putting some damage so fast on his toads that I got out to that really quick lead, but then a couple strategic ends made the game close. However, he ran out of lasers, he ran out of hammers, he ran out of a lot of his resources, and so the game ended up stalling out. Game 1, and that game 1 lasted a solid 40 minutes or so, but he ended up decking out because I just kept stalling him. I mean, there was I was running out of energies, and there was one point where I could keep attacking with the baby Eviltal, but I had an AZ in my hand and 2 Crobats set up. So I was just like, I'm just going to keep retreating into these and just taking hits, because he doesn't have any lasers or muscle bands left. So I was making good counts and everything. I managed to stall him out game 1. And then game 2 was much of the same thing. So that's how that matchup goes. I think if they start Toad and you play a laser turn 1, you win. I don't know, there's a lot of weird things that went on with that game, but it was fun. Kevin's a good guy. He was a really nice person to play against, and everything like that. So that at that point I was 5-1-1, and I knew that if I won one more game, I would be into top 32 for the next day, because of my resistance. I would find out at the end of the day, I have everyone's records here, that everybody that I played had a winning record, everybody, plus my buys. So I knew that my resistance was going to be high. I just had to win 1 more, and I was in. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Spoiler alert. Round 8, I played against Mark Garcia. He also had 2 buys. And I was talking to him, and I said, hey, I feel really bad because I was the only 2-round buy that get a loss in the first round. He goes, oh, no, that was totally me. I lost in the first round, too. So we were kind of joking about that. We lost early and everything. But he was playing Toad, and I had a lot of practice against Toad. I just played 2 different Toad variants. Unfortunately, the games lasted about 5 minutes total combined. Game 1, I started 2 Zubats and no supporters, and never drew another one. So that was over quickly. And then game 2, I started 1 Eviltal, and even though I played 2 Junipers over the course of the very short game, I still did not draw into another Pokemon. My Eviltal eventually just got knocked out. So that was one of the crappiest lucks I've ever had with Pokemon. And that's Pokemon. I'm not too salty about it, but it still sucks because it's like, oh man, I needed 1 more win to guarantee me, and I couldn't get it. But Mark moved on to day 2, so kudos to him. I don't know how he did in day 2. I know he didn't make top 8, but he did move on, so kudos to him. And then round 9, I played against Aaron Sainer from Texas. Really, really nice guy, and I had a lot of fun with the games that we played. I really enjoyed his presence and his atmosphere about it. But we knew that if one of us won, we had a chance to go. I would come to find out afterwards that his resistance was abysmal, so he missed day 2 because of his resistance. And if I had won, I would have made it. So that's the only thing I'm salty about, is that he had no chance to make it, but I still did. But we played it out, obviously, because you have to, and I understand that. But the unfortunate part was I flipped over Yveltal and he flipped over Manectric, and I knew instantly that I wasn't going to win that series. It was just another Manectric game. It was frustrating, right, to have such a big auto loss with this deck, but it did. Mega Manectric knocks out every single Pokemon in one shot. And you take forever hitting them back because of rough seas, and being able to retreat and power up other Pokemon. It's just a bad matchup, just a straight bad matchup for this deck. So game 1 I got slaughtered. Game 2 I made it close. I made it real close. I managed to knock out a Mega Manectric real quick. And then I had a Shaman and Jirachi sitting on the bench for him that I could take out. I managed to take out the Jirachi, and the Shaman ended up Sky returning with 10 HP left. And then I realized that I might have misplayed that. I was just playing fast because I was like, I want to get out of here. I knew I wasn't going to win game 3, but might as well have some fun with it. And I think that if I had tried to knock out the Shaman first, he wouldn't have Sky returned. I don't think he had the energy necessary or something. I can't remember the exact. I mean, it was around 9 after a long day, and I was tired and miserable and upset that I was going to lose. so I wasn't thinking fully, but I think I probably could have knocked the Shaman out, then the Jirachi, and made a game 3 where by some fluke I could have won or something. That's the only thing I kick myself at about that game, round 9. But regardless, he was playing Manetric, so kudos to him. He missed day 2, unfortunately. Really nice guy. I really wanted him to make day 2, but that didn't happen. So yeah, you can see that I played against, my losses were 2 Manetrics and a really unfortunate start. My tie was a Toad, and my 3 wins were 2 free ones, Night March, Toad, and Groudon. Now, I was really unfortunate. I was talking to my buddy Grant from Seattle, and he did the same thing I did. He started 5-on-1 and then lost his last 2 games, but both of them were to Donphan, and he was playing Mega Kyogre. So kind of unfortunate there. Kind of a iffy matchup either way, but I said that if we had traded opponents those last 2 rounds, we both would have made day 2, which is totally true, because this deck stomps Donphan. But as you can just tell, I never played fighting all day. I never played Donphan. I never played Landy Bats. I played 1 Mega Groudon, just 1. But this deck styles on fighting hard. And I only played 1 Night March too. So like, I missed all my good matchups. I won the Garbodor game. I tied the Seismitoad, and then I lost because of bad draw to the other Toads, which are the Toad is the coin flip matchup, right? So I played well. I made very little mistakes. Nothing game costing or anything like that. So I played well. I'm proud of myself. I played good players. I beat good players. Just came up that short. Just that short. I would have had a great day 2. There wasn't much Manetric in the top, I don't think. Would have had a great day 2. I had a great plan against Wailord too. I know there was 3 Wailords that made cut. I have a great strategy against Wailord, right? Like I can knock out a Suicune, and I have Sacred Ash, Dowsing Machine, and AZ, and ways to recycle Dark Energies, right? You put 1 Pokemon on the bench, an Eviltal, you swing for 30 over and over again, put a whole lot of energies onto your bench Pokemon, then AZ it back up, and if they don't heal that turn, you can end them back in to your deck. Or if they heal, you can discard the Dark Energies and repeat the process, right? So you have AZ to recycle all that stuff back into your deck. Dow's going to get Sacred Ash back to put Pokemon in after they heal you. You have a lot of options against that deck, and eventually they all deck out because they have no recovery cards. So I had a great plan against Wailord. I had a great odds. I had good odds, but unfortunately couldn't bring home the bacon those last 2 games. So anyways, we're going to take a look into the deck here. This is what I played. I played Eviltal Bats. Originally, if most of you from Spokane know, I was going to play Kling Metal, which bothers me because that was the #1 seed going into top 8 tomorrow, is Kling Metal. So I would have had great matchups all day if I had played that. But I still had a lot of fun with this one, and shout out to Rob Davies. I messaged him asking him for permission to use the deck because I knew it was kind of his baby. He'd been testing it a lot. And I'd actually seen the deck before. I played against it online a couple weeks before Canadian Nationals. I beat it, but it was close. And that kind of was like, it was one of the things like, oh, Eviltal Bats, that was cool. But I never really like put much thought into it. And then Davies did well with it, and I was like, okay, I gotta figure this out. So I messaged him saying, hey, what's this deck all about? And so we talked about different things online, back and forths, and then I made my own adjustments to it. And this is my list. I think it doesn't differ very much from Davies' list. He does have a 1/1 Leafeon in his, and my 1/1 Leafeon came out for the Miltank, the second repeat ball, and then the Iris came from his 11th Energy, and my 4th Muscle Band came from his 3rd Verbank. I think those were my changes. Yeah, that's all that changed there. So Miltank was the things I added was Iris, Miltank, second repeat ball, and 4th Muscle Band. And then the things I took out were the 11th Dark, the 3rd Verbank, 11th Dark, 3rd Verbank. What am I missing? Oh, and then the 1/1 Leafeon line. That was the only difference between the decks, and it ran well. It stomps a lot. You use Eviltals, you attack with Eviltal a whole bunch with Oblivion Wing. Does the same amount of damage as Toad for less energy, and you can still abuse the Muscle Band Laser to hit those magic toad numbers, right? But while you do that, you charge up a second Evil Toll on the bench to come out and swing with Darkness Blade. You can also charge up an Absol to come up and swing with Mind Jag as well. So it has those little chippy attacks, but the only difference between this and like Toad is that you eventually have that big swing attack and not ruining the strategy of your deck. Because, if Toad ends up grenade hammering, it takes their deck all apart and your opponent can play items. But this is different because you chippy attack them away and you also then swing big. And you get a lot of cool one-shots with math and everything with Darkness Blade, Mind Jack, with Muscle Band, Laser, and stuff. MVP of the day was definitely Miltank. If I were to play this deck again at Worlds, which I don't know if I will, just because it has that big auto loss to Manectric. But if I were to play this deck again, I would keep the Miltank in 100%. It was MVP for sure. It took a lot of prizes. One energy attacker that's able to swing late game. Oh gosh, so good. Miltank was MVP. I never ended up using the Iris. In practice the day before on Thursday night, I ended up one-shotting a Lucario with a Crobat using Iris. He had taken 4 prizes, so I slapped a Muscle Band on a Crobat and Iris and knocked it out one shot. So Iris was cool and clutch, but I don't know if it was necessarily necessary. I would have probably preferred the 4th Versus Seeker or the 2nd Lysander in the spot of it. Having 1 Lysander is something I'm not used to. I like 2 Lysander in almost every deck, except for Empoleon. But 2 Lysander was definitely my crutch. I needed 2 of them. Just in the matchups I played, I needed 2 for sure. I might have won against a Manectric deck had I played a 2nd Lysander or 4th Versus Seeker, but I didn't. I don't know if that was my Bane issue, but I don't know. The second Repeat Ball was worth it for sure. It helped me set up a lot of Zubats really quickly, and that won me games. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Laser, 4 Muscle Band. I'd keep all of those. The 4 Muscle Band especially. You hit magic numbers with it, and you don't mind discarding it all of a sudden. You're like, I got 4 of these. It's kind of a big deal when you play 3, one is prized, and you have to Ultra Ball another one away. Only having 1 Muscle Band for the game is bad. So 4 was nice because I was able to not have to worry about discarding it or getting it discarded. It was fine. Shaman was nice. It was good, but it wasn't paramount for me. Like, it wasn't 100% necessary. Like, if you don't own a Shaman or you don't want to like play your Shaman for some reason, you don't have to. The thing that I would have really liked, and this is maybe where an Iris comes out, the things I would have really liked with this deck is a switching card of some sort. Either a switch, a floatstone, or a escape rope. Probably an escape rope would be the biggest one. Because starting Miltank, starting Shaman, or starting Absol was so bad. So bad, especially if I went second, because I couldn't get that turn 1 Oblivion Wing off unless I hit an AZ. The only AZ, right? That was the only way I could attack turn 1 if I started one of those 3 Pokemon. Which, yeah, granted, doesn't happen much, but in testing, the little testing I did with this deck, I didn't play this deck a whole lot before I went to Nats with it. Every time I started Miltank, I lost. Every time. So I would play some sort of switching card to try to boost not starting that. I don't know what. Floatstone would definitely not be the solution. I think it would be either switch or escape rope. But that's what I had, or a second AZ or something. I don't know. I would need to do more testing if I were to play this again with that solution in mind. So that was the only thing I really needed, was another switching card and a second Lysander. But other than that, this deck is solid. It looks bad on paper. It looks bad. Like, even when I look at it now, I'm just like, why did this deck work? But it works so well. It does so good. So that's why I played it for Nats. It's got not a whole lot. Manectrics, it's only bad matchup. And I guess kind of Kyogre. But yeah, that's the deck I played. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm really tired. It's been a long week, and it's gonna get even longer. I'm still driving home. So go U.S. Women's Soccer tomorrow. Have a happy 4th of July to everybody. That if you watch this on the 4th, you should be with your families. But if you watch this on the 4th, happy 4th. And we're gonna be doing a lot of more cool stuff coming up here. We're gonna do a cube analysis when I get home. I might do that tonight. Who knows? Cube analysis coming up. Maybe a new U150 deck if I get around to it, and then just more content getting ready for Worlds and that. So get excited. Have a good night, everybody.